September 9th won't be just the start of the season. It'll be the night the Patriots face the opponent that exposed the gap between hope and a championship, with the entire league watching. New England answered that blow by giving Maye a devastating weapon, but the job just got tougher. Manage talent without weakening the roster, recognize opportunities without mortgaging the foundation, and pay the players holding this defense together. Rate that aggression, hit the like button, and subscribe. There's no comfortable conversation today. We're judging every decision by the only standard that matters in Foxborough. Does it make this team capable of taking down the best, or does it only create more noise? The entire league will be watching Seattle on September 9th, and that's not fanbase exaggeration. NFL.com's Matt Okada ranked A.J. Brown's Patriots debut as the most anticipated debut among players joining new teams. Number 1. It comes on a Wednesday night, right at the start of the season, against the team that beat New England in Super Bowl 60. There couldn't be a more unforgiving stage or a better opportunity to answer back. That trade was a statement. Mike Vrabel knew Brown from their time together in Tennessee. He knew exactly what kind of competitor he was bringing in, and he also understood the talent gap exposed in February wasn't going to disappear through speeches. The Patriots needed a receiver who could change the geometry of a defense alongside Maye. They got one. Then they added Romeo Doubs to presumably fill the number 2 role. Brown enters this season at 29 years old after posting 6 1,000-yard campaigns in 7 NFL seasons. The only exception came during a season shortened by injury. That isn't the resume of a gamble. That's proven WR1 production, something New England has been searching for since Julian Edelman retired. Stefon Diggs stepped up and delivered a strong 2025 season, but Brown brings a different combination of strength, yards after catch explosiveness, and the ability to win even when the defense knows the ball may be coming his way. Think about the fit here. Maye has already shown the accuracy, the arm talent to attack every area of the field, and the mobility to extend plays when protection breaks down. Brown thrives on those exact snaps, the ones where the defender thinks he has won, the quarterback escapes, and the coverage has to survive for another 2 seconds. With a target that physically imposing, Maye doesn't have to manufacture perfection on every down. He gains a powerful answer when the structure of the play collapses. That's why this debut means more than one big catch or an impressive stat line. Seattle will provide the first public test of the distance between these two rosters. A.J. Brown can't erase everything that happened in the Super Bowl by himself, but he changes the math the defense has to solve before the snap. If the Seahawks double him, Doubs and the rest of the offense get space. If they try to survive one-on-one, they're inviting Brown to take over the game. I want that pressure. I want the biggest addition of the offseason making his debut in a setting that forces everyone to reveal the truth immediately. The Patriots didn't pay a premium to hide their new weapon behind caution. They brought Brown here to win matchups, elevate Maye, and close the gap against the league's best. In September, the NFL will find out whether New England simply got closer or came back ready to take back its respect. But an aggressive franchise can't make one blockbuster addition and decide the job is done. That's where a proposal capable of dividing any war room enters the conversation. What if the Patriots tried to land Trey McBride? The chances of Arizona trading its tight end appear slim, and New England probably wouldn't push all its chips in for a player who isn't an edge defender at this point on the calendar. Still, the idea deserves to be judged by what it could deliver, and by the brutal price it would demand. McBride is coming off a historic season. He caught 126 passes in 2025, setting a new NFL record for a tight end and surpassing Zach Ertz's mark of 116 from 2018. He also became the first tight end to record back-to-back 100-catch seasons after making 111 receptions in 2024. He finished with 1,239 yards and 11 touchdowns, nearly doubling the 6 scores he produced over his first 3 seasons combined. When a player is producing at that level, having depth at the position isn't a reason to hang up the phone. The proposed package would send Kayshon Boutte, Mike Onwenu, and a 2027 first-round pick to the Cardinals. New England would receive McBride and reunite with linebacker Mack Wilson, who is entering the final year of his contract. That is a heavy package. Boutte is 24 and can still produce. Onwenu at 28 played a critical role in 2025. And a first-round pick carries enormous value, especially after the Patriots already used their 2028 first-rounder in the Brown trade. Why would Arizona listen? Because the Cardinals are trapped in a brutal NFC West after the division's other 3 teams all reached the playoffs. This would allow them to turn one star into premium draft capital and two young starters. Both Boutte and Onwenu are on expiring contracts, so Arizona would quickly have to decide whether it wanted to keep them. The Cardinals would also gain immediate help for a struggling offensive line and a receiver capable of absorbing some of the targets lost with McBride. Why would New England agree to bleed that much value? Because an offense with Brown outside, McBride controlling the middle, Hunter Henry providing another answer, and Maye distributing the football could attack any coverage. A defense can't double Brown and McBride on the same play without surrendering space somewhere else. When Henry's contract expires after the season, Eli Raradune could slide into the second tight end role. Mack Wilson would also bring energy and depth to a defense that already knows exactly what he offers. But I wouldn't send that package over in a rush. Onwenu protects the structure of this offense, and removing a reliable lineman to add another weapon could create one problem while solving another. That 2027 first-round pick also gives New England protection against injuries, regression, and needs that haven't even surfaced yet. Smart aggression isn't about collecting stars as if the salary cap and the trenches don't matter. It's knowing when a rare player creates more value than everything being sacrificed. If McBride becomes unhappy or Arizona genuinely opens the door during the season, Eliot Wolf has an obligation to make the call. Asking the price doesn't cost a pick, tear apart the line, or compromise the future. Then you negotiate. Try to reduce the package, protect your assets, and find out how far the Cardinals are willing to go. The mistake would be using Henry's presence as an excuse to ignore one of the best tight ends in football. My position is aggressive, but it isn't desperate. Attack the opportunity without automatically accepting the first demand. Brown already proved this front office can pull off a seismic move. McBride would raise the ceiling again. The difference between courage and recklessness will be the name New England can remove from that proposal, because paying for a superstar makes sense. Opening a hole in Maye's protection to do it does not. And the player included in that imaginary package is already dealing with a very real and uncomfortable situation. Kayshon Boutte could absolutely help the Patriots in 2026. In fact, keeping everyone would give New England one of the deepest receiver rooms in the league alongside Brown and Dobbs. The problem isn't talent, it's playing time, contract status, and opportunity. Albert Breer has said more than once that Boutte could have been acquired for a fifth-round pick during the 2026 NFL Draft. That offer never came. Now, Boutte enters the final year of his rookie contract after watching the Patriots add another ex-receiver, the role he had been filling. Even in the best-case projection, Boutte would probably open the season as the third option. That matters for a player trying to post the numbers that will shape his first major contract. Breer described the team's intention as an effort to do right by the player. I respect that approach because a strong locker room isn't built by treating people like disposable pieces. Vrabel created a healthy environment in 2025. Keeping a player without a clear path to opportunities during the most financially important season of his career could create tension that helps absolutely no one. Doing right by Boutte doesn't mean giving away talent either. If the fifth-round pick wasn't available during the draft, the Patriots need to use training camp to strengthen his market. Injuries will happen around the league. Evaluations will change. Some offensive coordinator could see Boutte as a starter who is currently squeezed out in Foxborough. Until then, he remains a football asset. He should practice, compete, and force the organization to make a value-based decision, not an anxious one. The more uncomfortable question is whether Boutte will fully participate if he remains on the roster. We don't have that answer. What we do know is that every practice can shift the trade conversation. A strong run from Boutte would reinforce New England's depth and remind other teams what he can do. A prolonged absence would strain the relationship and narrow the available options. I'm not going to attack Boutte for wanting opportunities, and I'm not going to accept the Patriots being pressured into taking whatever another team offers. The right outcome has to protect both sides. Find an offense that can put him on the field, demand reasonable compensation, and preserve the culture Vrabel has built. If nobody pays, he stays and competes for his role. Competition isn't disrespect, but nobody can pretend this crowded receiver room will simply sort itself out. All that debate about spending assets and managing contracts feels small next to the front office's most urgent responsibility. Christian Gonzalez has already become one of the faces of this defense. He's eligible for the first extension of his career, and he wants to be rewarded as a Patriot. Yet with training camp approaching, there still hasn't been the progress fans expected. That should be keeping Eliot Wolf awake at night. Gonzalez missed most of the voluntary offseason program and was limited to lower-intensity work and walkthroughs during mandatory minicamp. That approach allows him to avoid fines while still sending a message. If the team and player can't find common ground, training camp could bring more of the same. Mike Reese identified this contract situation, along with the uncertainty surrounding rookie Jesus, as the Patriots' biggest concern heading into camp. The quarterback is scheduled to make $2.259 million in 2026, while the best players at his position are earning more than $30 million per year. That gap is massive. And this isn't about paying for potential. Since New England drafted Gonzalez in the first round in 2023, he has become essential to the defense and earned a Pro Bowl selection. A secondary built to survive against AFC quarterbacks cannot treat its best cornerback like an issue that can be handled later. This is where I lose patience with any hesitation. The Patriots have spent years showing how one defender capable of controlling an entire side of the field can transform the whole game plan. He creates more pressure options, gives the safety help elsewhere, reduces the need for constant protection, and gives the coordinator freedom to attack. Keeping Gonzalez out of the competitive portions of camp doesn't only affect Gonzalez. It affects every adjustment, every communication, and every player trying to learn his assignment within the full defensive structure. Waiting could also make the deal more expensive. Devin Witherspoon is looking for a new contract in Seattle, and every major agreement resets the market. New England also knows it will have to make a decision on Drake Maye's fifth-year option next offseason, then prepare for the most important contract in the franchise not long after that. That isn't a reason to push Gonzalez aside. It's a reason to get the finances organized now, before two massive negotiations collide. So it's time for a Patriots fanbase temperature check. Use the comments like your own negotiating table, and tell me which contract term you would protect to get this deal done without losing another meaningful practice. I don't want an automatic pay him whatever he wants. Tell me how you would balance guarantees, contract length, and flexibility while keeping an elite defender in Foxborough. Brown proved the Patriots can make a major move. Calling about McBride would be ambition. Moving Boutte, if it happens, would be roster management. Extending Gonzalez falls into a completely different category. It's an obligation. New England drafted and developed him. He delivers at a premium position, and he anchors a defense that helped carry this team to the Super Bowl. If the front office wants the NFL to view New England as a lasting contender, it needs to make sure its own foundational players aren't standing still while the calendar keeps moving. The Patriots enter camp facing a question that won't accept a soft answer. Is this roster going to protect what it accomplished, or attack the next level? Brown represents the blow they've already landed. McBride would be the ultimate swing. Boutte requires management without cruelty, and Gonzalez requires urgency without excuses. My choice is simple. Secure the cornerback before chasing another luxury on offense, but keep the phone open for any real advantage. Now pick your side in the comments, subscribe to Patriots Club fans, and follow every move. In Foxborough, ambition only matters when it becomes action, and action only matters when it moves this team closer to the top of the AFC.